This episode is brought to you by freedadcourse.com. You are always one conversation away from changing your life, and the power of hello is something that I subscribe to every single day, and I'm always saying hello to new people everywhere I go. Increasing your opportunity, increasing your connection, and getting access to the solutions to the problems that you are facing, whether you're on active duty or just beginning your veteran transition or even transitioning out for 20 years. On the other side of hello are the solutions that you're looking for. Again, head on over to freedadcourse.com. Get your 5-episode audio course to create more connection, create more friendships, and get back to living the life that you're trying to design.
Dory 1, this is Fireteam Delta. Dad's coming home. Welcome to the Military Veteran Dad Podcast, where it is our mission to bring every dad home. I am your host, Ben Killoy. I'm a United States Marine veteran, husband, and a father. We will bring authentic conversations to inspire action in your life so we can close the gap between the dad you are today and the dad you want to be tomorrow. This is the Military Veteran Dad Podcast.
Welcome back to the Military Veteran Dad Friday solo series. I want to apologize for missing last Friday. Week got away from me with losing my job the same week, and it just got to be a little too much. But I'm back, and I'm ready to bring it to you. So this week's episode is kind of leading into this idea of tomorrow, or today, Valentine's Day, is my last day at work. And as I've been reflecting through this process the last 3 weeks, I can say the first week was about the realization of it. The second week, I felt alive, more excited for what was going to be on the other side of this transition. This week was all about the goodbyes and saying goodbye to the friends that I had built up over 8 years, and it became very sad. But as I lead into tomorrow was kind of the last day of that sadness, and I move into a world that, or even an emotional feeling that I haven't really yet experienced in a long time. And being a plane nerd, if you've heard me a couple times probably go off on a couple tangents related to planes, I was reminded of a YouTube video, and in it, the video that said that planes are meant to be in the air, not on the ground. And human beings are a lot like that we aren't meant to just sit on the ground and do ordinary things. We're designed to be in the air. That planes are actually kind of a hot mess when they're on the ground, that you have to do quite a bit of things to make a plane stay on the ground without breaking. Like planes efficiently fly better and are happier in the air. Everything works better when a plane is in the air. And I couldn't help but also have the feeling that the last 8 years that I've been honing myself as an airplane, that to make myself almost aerodynamically ready to fly. And that it was almost maybe a fear of not taking that leap, turning the engines on, and seeing what would happen. But man, on the other side of tomorrow is going to be something amazing. And it's even better because next week, my daughter's home on Monday with daycare being closed. So I get to spend a day with my youngest. Thursday and Friday, all the kids are home because their school is closed. And it's just going to be a great week where I just get to be dad. And that feeling just gets me really excited. I'm even getting a little bit teary as I'm talking about this just now. That feeling is something that I can't feel right now. Next week, I am going to be able to feel it like I've never felt it before. And I'm going to feel that wind starting to lift under the wings and start to take off. Because that's the future that I've been dreaming for myself. And I've really been given this gift of being able to go forward and be able to see what this plane can do and how much lift and altitude we can get right away. Because I honestly feel like myself, what I've gone through, the journey, everything that I've gone through has been to prepare this airplane to be aerodynamically perfect for lift and to rise to 30,000 feet and do all the things that I've wanted to do. And those things get me more excited every day than I can say. And just reflect this on yourself also. Don't just think it as my story. Think about to yourself as a dad listening to this. Are you a plane that was meant to fly? Are you a plane that was designed from the very beginning to be in the air and soar with the birds? And you've really been holding yourself back and sitting on the ground. I can say that for myself. I was sitting on the ground. And if I reflect on the decision to get out of the military, that decision was based on that I was meant for bigger things. And I can't help but look back and think, I can't help but think that that feeling was because I was meant to fly. I wasn't meant to be in the military long term. I got what I needed from the military. Now it was time to start flying. But it's been a long time since that moment. And now as I get a chance to move forward through that, I can't help but get more excited about what's coming. Because everything that I've worked through the last 4 years is essentially going towards something. And that something is going to be something amazing that I've only been able to see when I close my eyes. And my goal is to take my 10-year goal and shortcut it to 6 months. So my next pivot is going to be public speaking. This is something that's been on my heart. This is something that I see when I close my eyes. I see a room of 1,000 people. This is where I feel the most impact. This is where I feel the most alive. When I gift people the connection with words in their heart and allow them to feel what they need to feel. That's been my power, and I never really honored it. And as I was going through this process, there was a colleague that I had never actually met in person. We've only messaged back and forth. And I've only known her for 3 weeks. And she's like, I feel like I'm saying goodbye to someone for 2 years. And I've only known you for 3 weeks. And I only did that through words and messages. And I was like, if I can have that kind of power on someone over messages, what could I really have if I stepped into my power? So as going forward through this, my big thing is essentially to help military dads come home. But I'm also going to go even bigger than that. I'm going to reach into the world of business where this idea of family and coming home isn't talked about enough. And my pitch is going to be how being a more connected parent at home makes you a more connected employee at work. That these two aren't connected enough, and that these are going to be the two things that really transform me into the next decade. Like, this is going to be my thing. This is going to be my superpower. This is going to be the gift that I keep on giving, because as I go through this podcast, as I connect with more parents, more of that feeling comes through that this is a message that other people need to hear. And corporations aren't talking about it, and they're dancing around the elephant in the room, which is you really can't solve a lot of the problems at work unless you have connected parents at home. And if a parent doesn't have a connected world at home, what they bring to the work is far less what they're capable of, and then you get far less the results that your company has been asking for. So with all of that said, I am more excited that today, Valentine's Day, marks the end of an 8-year journey, just shy of 15 days, because March 1st was my 8-year mark, just shy of 8 years of learning what I needed to know to make this plane take off. I can't help but feel that next week is going to be that lifting feeling that is going to have something magical happen. And I don't know what that's going to be. I'm not putting all my eggs that something magical is going to happen. But man, I'm just going to love being a dad next week. And I've got 2 major things coming up where I'm also going to be in Washington, D.C. at the Dad 2.0 Summit. I'm going to be reading a blog post that I wrote last summer called When is a Veteran Forgotten? And I also am going to be appearing at PodFest in March at Military Creator Con, and going to be participating on a interview or a panel about interviewing shows for podcasting. So I'm really excited about those 2 opportunities and what those are going to do and what we're going to connect with. And as I've always said, friendships can move your life forward. And I have never been more excited to make new friends, to find the next one thing that I need in my life, and to keep going and to keep digging. And I'm excited that you are here with me as a listener to this podcast. I appreciate you more than you will ever know. And if you ever need that friend, I am there for you. I will be that friend that I wish I had 5 years ago. And I can't tell you how much knowing that you're out there listening and getting impact out of these stories, and that means to me and fuels me and continues to motivate me forward. So if you've been listening to podcasts and you've gotten value out of it, or if I've changed your life in some way, I would love to hear your story and what I was able to do, and to understand the impact that this podcast is happening. And I would just love to hear those stories, because those stories really fuel me forward They connected me to my purpose, and I've never wanted to be more connected to my purpose going forward than I am right now. And those would just really fuel me up. They probably be something almost I read every day, because these are the reasons why I do this, and then I'm never going to quit. So with that said, I'm signing off, and I'll talk to you again on Monday.